Uh, Good evening, folks. I won't be on too long because I know y'all got things to do. And all right, can you hear me out there? All right, this don't sound good. Hang on. Hang on a moment. Hey, gain's turned up, right? Oh, okay, I'm not hardly getting any sound bars there for a minute. I don't know what's going on with this thing. Hey, everybody hear me okay, or do I sound muffled at all? I see somebody's hopped in. I knew I should have checked the mic before I came on, but oh man. Okay, that would help a little. Well, I got three peggers there. Wow. I know it's late and a lot of you are getting ready to go, to your jobs in the morning, and some of you are probably already well asleep. It's just, I wanted to talk briefly about the experience I had over this weekend. It just blew my mind, the type of security that was put in place for the con. And also, there was a number of other things that took place at the con that just blew my mind. Everybody hearing me okay? Please give me a hell yeah if you are, because this bar meter is saying I'm only like tugging two green lights. And I'm like, I know this thing should be louder than that. Anybody out there? Okay. Can anybody hear me? All right. If you can. We went to Cincinnati Comic Expo this weekend, and the security measures they put in place were just beyond ridiculous, especially for a convention environment. While I can understand that everybody's a little paranoid because some idiot tried to kill the Green Ranger a couple of years ago, the fact that they limited it down to one entrance to get in and out of the building, and they show on this diagram that I put up, well, if you had a badge, you could go in and out this other door. I didn't see anybody else doing that. One time, a group of people went out. They had the door set so you could go out, but if you came back in, the door was locked. And the one time this group came out to take a group picture on the stairs, they went to turn to go back in. Somebody was going to let them back in, and the cops waved them off. So, along with me, who just went outside to sit down and take a vape, we had to go all the way back around to the other side of the building. And of course, I love this. So here I am. I'm wearing my bag. I'm wearing a camera. I always put on some rings just for shits and giggles because I own a bunch of them. So they're all steel and sterling silver rings. So every time I have to go back in the building, I got to take all these rings off, take off my top hat, take off my camera, take off my bag, let them search it. The only thing in the bag were some business cards, some extra vape juice, and a camera battery. Now, an extra one for the camera in case I needed it. But it took me a good couple minutes to get through line, and people are looking at me like I'm inconveniencing them. I'm like, folks, don't you see what you're doing? You're surrendering some very, very basic constitutional rights here. It's called illegal search and seizure. These people don't have the right to search your ass just to come into a goddamn building to have a good time. It blatantly pisses in the face of the Constitution. Yet these people are all marching in there like the good group of sheeple, and I hate to use that term because a lot of the so-called, rights evangelists do. But like I said, the peak of it was when I was coming back in. It was like my second or third time going back into the building. So once again, you can go out a door, hit a vape, then you got to go all the way back around to that one corner. And hang on, there's a bit about that coming in a minute. Go back in, and there's this lady standing there like a reject from a 70s lesbian sexploitation jail movie, shouting, "Everybody open your bags, put your metal objects in the thing." I'm like, what the fuck is this, Paris Island? Put your stuff in a bag. I'm like, my God. I felt like I was an inmate, not a guest or anything. And that's why when I was going to put up some of the pictures that I took at the con, because I did take a few with the camera this time, I couldn't do it. I was like, I can't promote this. I can't even support this in any way. I did put up the pictures of my t-shirts, and I did put up the pictures of the 3 autographs I got. Oh, that leads into a whole nother mess with the autographs and the way they are handled. Because I was looking to get the 4 Firefly crew members to add, because, you know, it would bring me up to 7. The only ones I'd be missing at that point were Gina Torres and Nathan Fillion. And, you know, good luck, because, you know, Nathan, the closest he comes to Ohio is like, you know, Dragon Con in Georgia. And Gina, I don't think is even on the convention circuit, Gina Torres. But then all right, I knew things were going to go wrong when they let VIP in at 9:30. Okay. 10 o'clock, Joe, general admission goes in. So me and my wife went, you know, of course, we're going to go straight, get the autographs done, and get the hell out of there. And we get back there sometime after 10 because they put the autograph section where you were heading for literally on the opposite corner of the building from where you go in. And we get back there and the lines are still packed and there's no sign of any celebrities. They hadn't shown up yet. Now, I don't want to sound mean. I know these folks, you know, they do their damnedest to entertain us and whatnot. But apparently September 20th, the night of that, was the 17th anniversary of the premiere of Firefly. So the group of them went out and they got blasted. At least that's the gist of what I heard. And they all showed up late the next day. And then you had one con volunteer that was supposed to cut off Alan Tudyk's line so he could get out of there at 12:30 to go to lunch, and he'd be going to 1:30. And instead, he managed to screw that up. Alan stayed till 1:15, and I was like, damn, that's a noble effort, you know. You know, he's actually, you know, going the extra mile for the fans. I can understand, you know, that's real cool. You know, Alan Tudyk, that's nice. So about 1:15, he packs his stuff up and he heads back to the back. About 5 minutes later, you know, because we figured I'm already going to line up, because sometimes what my wife and I will do is we'll switch off, because she has a walker where she can sit down. You know, I'll take off for a few minutes, come back, then she can take off for a few minutes, come back. That way we're not both, you know, tied into that one line. Or what we did at the beginning is, you know, she'll get in one line, I'll get in the other. That way we can nail off 2 things at once, and we aren't both waiting just to get out of there. Well, then Alan Tudyk's handler comes out, or one of the con staff, I can't remember which, and goes, he's not going to be back till 3:30. Now, meanwhile, Marina Bachran's gotten out apparently a little bit after 12:30, but she's gone. My wife hopped in line immediately after everybody left. So she was up at the front of the line. And so now everybody's disappearing. Now she goes, look, you know, I'm going to hold this place. You know, you do whatever. So I ran off for a bit, come back. You know, she's sitting down in her chair. She's, you know, seems to be okay, fine. And she goes, well, she's going to be back in a few minutes, so no biggie. So I went and I did find the mythical smoking area that they were talking about. You had to go up 3 sets of escalators on. So basically from the area we were at for the autographs, now you got to go to the other side of the building, go up 3 sets of escalators. There was an elevator in the one part there, but guess what? It was all locked off for security. They changed the buttons over for keys, so if you wanted to use any of the floors. So I don't know if that was a maintenance one or what. But then you go all the way up to the top there. It's a balcony on the 3rd floor, and it's already in the 90s outside, and this whole balcony is in the hot, nice, blazing sun. So you had to go stand out in the sauna, you know, if you wanted to avoid going through the whole security thing again by heading out downstairs. Fun so far, ain't it? So my wife's still waiting. Marina didn't show back up till sometime around 2. Now, the gist of what she got from Marina Bachran was this. Like I said, I'm just going off what was said. So be it true, be it not, this is what we heard. Apparently, they told Marina to go ahead and do something else. I can't remember if it was photo ops or whatever, and then come back at 3:30. And she said, nope, I'm going back there because there's people waiting in line. And she did. And that's the only reason we got Marina Baccarin's signature, was the fact that she went back. There's my poor wife still sitting there. And it was just pure pandemonium. But still, the fact of it is this. I'm going to have to do a whole video on this more than likely, because it was just beyond bonkers. When a selfie at a table, how many of you out there, who've watching have had a selfie at a table? Any of you? Come on, let me know. Just say, look, I've had a selfie at a table with an actor, actress. If you want, you can name, even name who it is if you're out there. Is anybody out there? Come on, I got at least 20 of in here, which is surprising me for a Sunday night. Anybody? Oh, great. Come on, let me know you're alive. But while I'm going on, go ahead and let me know. Okay. A selfie with Jewel State was $40. And for the 4 people I was going there for, that was the cheapest. There were other artists who went as cheap as $20. For Marina Baccarin or Alan Tudyk, $60 for a selfie at the table with your own camera. And guess what happened also? Get ready for this. For just about every person who was doing selfies, for $10 more, you can get a professional photo op picture. And it just begins to look like, to me, like the con was behind those prices, because they want everybody to go get the professional photo op. To me, you could eliminate half of the bullshit you've got going on with con scheduling and stuff like that just by getting rid of that stupid piece of shit celebrity photo op booth. Because for $70, plus if you wanted all 4 of the Firefly people who were there, it was a $210, which isn't bad, but still. Exactly. You hit it on the head there, Mick English. When I went to see Norman Reedus, he charged it was either $30 or $40 for an autograph, but he made sure every single person who paid for an autograph got a free selfie with him. Every single person, free selfie. Didn't charge a dime. And yet now we go to this con. We've got everything done to us but butt searches. I'm not kidding. I think it's going to get to the point that what's going to be next? Strip searching, anal cavity search, what? Because I shouldn't have to open my bag and have somebody search it just to walk into a frickin' building. That's a blatant violation of my constitutional rights right there. They're pissing in the face of the founding fathers. But everybody happy. I did it, and I'm like, yeah, right here. It's like I don't have anything in this little saddlebag that's even remotely threatening. Then, but still, everybody's like, well, they were just looking to make sure. I go, no, they were looking to make sure you didn't have a bomb, or you didn't have like a Coca-Cola or something you didn't have to pay $8 frickin' bucks for. I'm not kidding. A regular, like 20-something ounce bottle of Pepsi was like $3.50. And it goes up from there. The food prices were ridiculous. Yeah. Plus the fact that they're selling alcohol on the property. It's like, it's a con, people. It's not a freaking, football game. But that's just me. Oh, that's what after parties used to be made for. But, but it's a long time since then. But like I said, it just blew my mind, the fact that you could only go in and out at that one point, or you could go out other doors, but then you're locked out and you have to go back to that point to go back in. And then you have to go through the whole search and thing again, even if you have an armband already. It got to the point that after the 3rd time, I went out and I got a vape. I was fortunately near my car. I walked over and threw my saddlebag in it just to save time going through the day, and took my rings off and all that just to go through the trouble of doing this all again to carve a couple minutes off. I just couldn't believe it. Like I said, plus the fact that the guy who did go after Brian Austin Green, I think that was his name, was busted by folks informing security. He didn't get a chance to pull off his grand master plan. No one was harmed because it was foiled by good old common sense. Now, apparently this guy went in there and he was wearing, I think it was a 45 on his hip. And the thing is, if you know what you're looking for, you can tell a cosplay weapon from a way-caught weapon at 20 feet. Especially if it's metal and it's got a clip hanging out of it, and the clip does look real, call con security. Go get the cop that's nearby. See, I've had cons where there were local cops there, and that's the normal thing. They're just probably earning some overtime and they're there to help security. But they weren't there to screen you, wand you, go through your shit. None of that. So that's why I didn't put up any of the photos I got from the con, because I don't think we're ever going to be going back there again. The quote Benjamin Franklin died and bled for. Oh, great. There went the connection. Hopefully now it's back. And, well, I don't know if it came through, but I just read the quote by Benjamin Franklin. Basically, he coined it down: those who give up freedom for security deserve neither. Just to put it in a nutshell. All right, I'll reread the quote for you. It's I love YouTube. I just go to another screen so I can read this quote, and the thing freaks out like, oh my God. So that's why I'm not going to put up any of the photos from the con. Like I said, I put up my t-shirts. I put up the pictures of, the various autographs I got, of which there were 3. Like I said, we couldn't get anywhere near Alan Tudyk, because by the time we came back, we figured, okay, we'll go back about 2:30, get in line, and he's not going to be back till 3:30. We went back a little after 2:30, and his line was already back and around the corner again. And it's like, we've only got a couple more hours before we're heading home. We're not going to spend them standing in line. I respect Alan Tudyk as an actor, loved him as Wash, loved him in iRobot, loved him as Mr. Nobody, loved him in Transformers, various other things he's appeared in. But I'm not going to spend the whole day waiting in line. It reminds me too much of the debacle we had over at the one horror con with Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and they overbooked the sales tickets, overbooked the photo ops and everything else. Basically, they treated the people who were waiting in line for an autograph like, well, the guys who paid for the photo op paid in advance. We're going to cough them up first. Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to worry about it over there. But the problem with America is people don't realize banning something does not work. We tried it with prohibition back in the 20s. It didn't work. Exactly, Paul. It felt like I was an inmate. It really did. It felt like I was going in and out of a frickin' jail. It really did. But, here's the ironic part. They're trying to get vapes banned right in this country, because so far 7 people have allegedly died. Well, 7 people have died. But the thing is, they keep leaving out of the story was all 7 were using Juul vapors with bootlegged loads that were made on the street for cannabis oil. They were not bought at a store. They were not bought through a registered thing. They were bought on the street. And I love how they keep trying to smooth it over. But the most ironic thing about it is 7 people have died. And I'm like, yet cigarettes are still out there on the counter. And they kill how many people an hour in this country every day? We've now legalized marijuana, from what I just read somewhere. I think this is true. 26 states. Yet breathing in fog machine vapor is going to kill you, and it must be banned. Yeah, even my doctor, my GP, he said, yeah, because he said damn, I'm glad you're doing this, because it really helped me quit smoking. Coming this next, I believe it's May 17th, it'll be 4 years since I lit a cigarette. And this helped. This pretty much did it. And it was a lot better than sticking a patch of raw nicotine on your arm. And plus, you don't even want to know how much it costs for nicotine gum. And that's the people who are out to wipe out vaping. A lot of the big tobacco companies, I know Philip Morris did some investigation into it, but I think it's the other ones like Winston-Salem and all that are lobbying to get rid of vapes because people are using them to quit smoking. And also big pharma, because people are not buying, they're not buying the gum, they're not buying the patches. They're using these to quit smoking, and it's working. It takes care of the old fixation. Plus, with this, I can adjust my nicotine level. Matter of fact, I'm down to a 6. I'm going to probably go down to a 3 beginning of the year. Yeah, my brother, when he was using the nicotine patch, he had the most vivid nightmares you could believe. And it was weird. It only happened when he used the patch. Yet vaping is bad for you. It killed 7 juveniles. Don't even ask me to bring up the figures on cigarettes. Yet they're never going to legalize those. I love how we illegalize certain things here, and it's cool, and yet we have things that are legal that'll kill you even quicker. Oh, I haven't put Pearl back up yet. See, there's Pearl. I just haven't. I'm going to find a place to put her back up here on the shelf, because Marina's right here now. I don't know. I may eventually move Marina up to the wall somewhere if I can find any space. So yeah, she's still here. It's Pearl Mackie. And oh God, I'm going to be broke after Chicago Target. So I kill your mood. That's Marina Baccarin. She was on Firefly. A lot of you probably know from the Deadpool movies now. Sorry about that. My allergies are going nuts tonight. So you may know her from Deadpool, Gotham. Matter of fact, she met her husband, Ben McKenzie. Yeah, he was there, Ben McKenzie. Really nice fellow. We had a good small, like 5-minute chat. But I was like, the saddest part was I kind of felt bad for Ben because just between you and me, his lines were never as big as his wife's. Okay. But yeah, it just, I was sitting here thinking I got to do a video tonight, but it's like, I'll just come on here. Oh yeah, Stargate SG-1. That's right. She was on that too. You're right. I forgot all about that. It was towards the end, wasn't it? She was, what's her name's daughter? The evil psycho entity. All right, for you 4 or 5 people who are into Dr. Freedom and Eric Audios, I'm sorry. It's just when I do the ending of a story, sometimes I get tripped up a bit because even though I know what the last scene's going to be, I want to make sure all the pieces are there in place for when I get to that scene. So I may even do a Q&A on that one after it's out. Maybe do a live. Me is not yet out on strike. We were granted an extension, but the GM guys are. I was thinking about doing an Indigo page, but the problem is there's so few of you out there who are from the tri-state area. I don't think it would work because I was talking to a venue that we've been to before. And they said, look, if those guys came back here, we'd give them the exact same thing because we had kind of a mini con at this venue. And they not only had radio commercials, they did a TV ad for it, I think. And it was a nice day. Over 350 people showed up over the course of the day. And we had that whole plaza. And they're offering that same thing. Yet I don't have the money to get an attraction there. Because just for, your basic celebrities and all that, it's like $5,000 to $7,000. and then you got to, pay for other things. But I'd love to do an event like that. But like I said, I don't have the cash to do it. All right. Because, like I said, the main reason, though, I didn't watch Stargate Atlantis. I have all 10 seasons of SG-1 in the other room. I did not like Stargate Universe. I called it Stargate Voyager, Stargate Lost, Stargate Gilligan's Island, because it was just awful. All right, we're stuck on this abandoned ship out in the middle of nowhere. Let's go bone. Let's make babies in an environment we don't know we're ever going to get out of. Ugh. Okay, a tri-state area is a region around a state, and usually around 3 states. That's why they call it the tri-state area. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, sorry, got asked in there. Yeah, Stargate Universe, I did not like. I just could not get into it. As much as I love Robert Carlyle as an actor, he was wasted on that show. Also, I'm going to use these little thingies to hop into this guy's body, pretend you're you, so I can bone your wife to get revenge on you. Oh, God, it was like a freaking soap opera gone wrong. Quantum Leap, yes. I only have season 1 right now on DVD. I feel bad, too, because I keep seeing the whole series now out for DVD. But I watched it back when it was on. I love that show. Scott Bakula, of course, and Dean Stockwell, awesome. Well, it says right here, you got to, hang on. Ziggy says you're going to die. Okay. Yeah, I loved Quantum Leap. It broke down so many barriers. Love that show. Oh, well, a couple more minutes. I'm going to go ahead and check out on you because I know a lot of you out there, have got to go to bed. You got jobs tomorrow and, place to be. But the main focus of this thing was this. I'm going to probably have a news video for tonight because I do have a few articles built up for Monday. But I'm trying at the same time to get this thing written. I'm about 3 scenes in, and I've got a few major scenes to go for it is done. So it's going to probably be, hopefully, I want to try to have it done by next weekend so I can have lines out. I wish someone would put Quantum Leap up on a streaming service somewhere, like Netflix or something, so you can watch it. But yeah, sadly, also a lot of people don't wear it. Hang on, I'm probably going to freak out again. So for you folks who remember a classic, a classic episode called The Enterprise Incident, he played the character of Tal. He passed away at the age of 90. But sadly, Aaron Eisenberg passed away. We're not sure what it is, but he had a lot of problems, especially with his kidneys. Matter of fact, he was born with only one barely functioning kidney. He had a kidney transplant at age 17. It was similar to the problems that Gary Coleman had, by the way. Yeah. So that's why he couldn't grow over 5 feet tall, Aaron Eisenberg. He had also had a kidney replacement, I think not too long ago, a kidney transplant. And sadly, he was married to this young lady in 2018. I think I don't want to slaughter her name, by getting, I think it's Melissa Alapo, something like that. And he passed away, of course, just last night. And no one's sure what, but they know he'd been having a lot of medical problems his entire life, the poor fellow. So we lost Jack Donner, Aaron Eisenberg over the weekend. And it's sad too, because when you go back and look at some scenes there, Nog really became a very good character. He got such great development in DS9, especially after he joined Starfleet and rose up the ranks. So it's a real blow. that, he was 50. And I'm like, damn, I'm only 2 years from 50. It's just still sad, the thing when you think about it. Especially, he was just married a few months back, and, I've never met Scott Bakula personally, no. I wish I could meet Dean Stockwell. He's got to be a trip and a half, considering some of the stuff I've seen him in. So for you folks who have been asking, this is a picture of Marina Baccarin when she was in Firefly back in 2002. So this is many moons ago, many moons before Deadpool. Saw What We Left Behind. Someone asked about Knight Rider. Yeah, I have seen Knight Rider. I was a big fan of it when I was younger. The new Knight Riders that came later were just, oh my God. It seemed like every other year they were trying to restart Knight Rider. Because you had Knight Rider, and you had Knight Rider 2000. Then when they started doing those little action-packed things where they're trying to launch new series, there was Knight Rider 2010, which had nothing to do with the Foundation for Law and Government, nothing to do with anything from the original lore, if I remember correctly. Then you had, Team Knight Rider. Then you had the Knight Rider with Val Kilmer in the Mustang, doing the voice of Kit, which got so freaking stupid it made me want to cry. Like, get ready for this. The guy who was piloting it turns out to be Michael Knight's son. Okay, I can handle that. But then it turns out he was part of this secret weapons program, and that car was the prototype for that weapons program. Remember the Knight Automated Roving Robot? And get ready for this. Car was a transformer, which made it doubly ironic, or fitting, actually, I should say, because anyone that remembers who did the voice of Car in that new series? Peter Cullen. Peter Cullen did the voice of Car for the new series. And it's an evil, transforming car. And for you folks who are not aware of who Peter Cullen is, Peter Cullen's the fellow who's been doing the voice of Optimus Prime since 1984. Even in the new movies, it's Peter Cullen doing the voice of Optimus Prime. I don't think he did Optimus Primal in the Beast Wars series, but I've never met Robert Picardo, but I hear he's a very interesting fellow. I've met like John Delancey. I've met Patrick Stewart. I've met Nichelle Nichols, but I didn't at this particular con. Last time I met, it was somewhere time back in the 90s. I have her autograph in a photo album here that I still have, because get ready for this. They didn't charge for her autograph at that. It was a creation con. And I didn't, you had to pay for a photo, but I didn't have any, exchange to really break it down. So I gave her the con flyer. And she signed this big blank space at the end, bottom of the con flyer. I folded it up, and it's been in a photo album over here ever since. Okay, that's why I figure. I don't think he did, because it was Peter Kay who did Megatron in Beast Wars, if I remember right, but instead of Frank Welker. But I still think Frank Welker should have done Megatron in the new Transformers movies. It would have been a bit more fitting. Hugo Weaving did a spectacular job, but okay, why is sitcoms, TV shows, anime, cartoons, preschool, TV dramas are made for TV movies and actually are so expensive? Now, the thing is this, it's hard to break it down. When you're bringing animes to the United States, you have to get the rights from the original owners, artists, and all that. Then they usually go through a distribution company. Then you got to pay that company. And then, like when Robotech came over here, it ran through Harmony Gold. And that was a whole funny story in itself, especially when they were trying to get the Sentinel series made. I had the original Sentinels DVD, the DVD, and because it wasn't finished, instead of doing the regular soundtrack, you could play a commentary where the fellow who was in charge of all this, bringing it to the U.S., was sitting there telling the story of what went wrong with the Sentinels. And it was an amusing story. It'll hit me in a half hour what the guy's name is, because I know what it is, but the hard drive isn't quite retrieving it. Now, TV shows in the modern era. Now, one thing you're going to notice is this. Why are TV shows so expensive? Because when they become hits, you had shows like Friends where like the entire cast were making $1 million an episode. And a lot of people are going nuts because Jodie Whittaker's making $240K a year. Ugh. That's why British actors come to America. Especially after Hugh Laurie came over, did House. And by the time they got to the last season, he was making $1 million an episode. And he took a pay cut down to like $800K just so they could do Series 8 to finish it off. And one of the things that pissed me off beyond comprehension was they dumped the character of Lisa Cuddy. And therefore, they kicked Lisa Edelstein out the door just to save money on the budget for the cast. They could have easily wrote her back in, but then again, after House ran his car through the front of her house, I don't know. But all right, that's a whole other story. But yeah, here in America, yeah, they tend to like really blow large amounts of money on the budgets and all that for the shows, and then they pass the savings on to you. You see, it's just crazy here in America how much you can make just being an actor on television these days. But then when you look at the schedule, some of these shows do, or especially when you're in the sci-fi edge of it, depending on how much prosthetics you need, you've got to be there in the chair like 3 or 4 hours before everybody else. And then you've got to be there an hour and a half to 2 hours after everybody leaves to get the makeup taken off. So things like that you got to account for. There is, a word that he's going to be in it. So, I wouldn't put it past him because, as y'all know, we've got, Jerry Ryan showing up, the boobs that save Voyager. Yeah, I'm sorry. I still get a laugh out of that. I have nothing against Star Trek Voyager. It wasn't a bad series, but a lot of people don't know that. I think it was towards the end of season 4. The ratings weren't doing all that well. Or was it 3? Something like that. And that's why they brought in the Borg. And then they bring in Jerry Ryan, who just happens to be boning Brandon Braga at the time, one of the executive producers. Oh, that's nice. I didn't know about that. That Nigel Hawthorne had done that. Okay. Oh, Madness of the King. Okay, Madness of King George. Okay. But it's just scary to me because I think most British programs have far better quality than a lot of the stuff we had here. Like, I'll take, oh, goodness. Some did, some didn't, At least the acting quality, I think, was better, which is why you'll notice in a lot of American movies, it's British actors these days playing Americans or New Zealanders. Well, folks, I've been on here about 10 minutes longer than I thought. And I'm sorry if I started out on a down note if you start this one from the beginning. But I watched Cheers. I watched a little bit of Frasier. It just wasn't my thing, Frasier. Yeah, I do miss Quantum Leap. I hope they don't remake it because there's word already going around. They want to redo The Princess Bride. And I'm like, oh, hell no. Do not go near that. Leave that movie alone, okay? Also, get ready for this. The guy who did the series Mr. Robot is now openly discussing restarting Galactica again. And I'm like, I will get ready for this quote. I will honor the spirit of the series from the early 2000s. It's like, have you done a little research to realize that that series was based off a 1978 movie and television series? Probably about as much as Ron Moore did for that series. But yeah, there's remakes that are spectacular. There's remakes that are mediocre, but 90% of them just plain suck. I don't know. Here's the problem I would have with Quantum Leap coming back. You saw how much of a cow some audiences had with the episode of Doctor Who this last series called. Now, just imagine if they tried to tackle half the shit that's in Quantum Leap today. They would be people protesting, going, oh, yeah, he's violated me. Stuff like, I am offended. We don't want true history. We want allegory because we can't handle reality. Oh, I still can't believe that one. So I'm sorry I started out on a down note for you. I really am, but it's just something that's been weighing heavily on me since I got back from that con Saturday evening. That is this what we have to look forward to now at major cons, where you're treated like you're going into a top secret missile facility or a prison for a visitation. You know, what's going to be next? Body scanning machines. And I hate to sound like an alarmist, but given the fact this con went from a basic bag check and a cosplay weapon check, and they didn't even really do the bag check the last time I was there. He said, I didn't go there last year because we put all our resources into going to Chicago TARDIS last year. But it was basically, yeah, they checked your thing, checked your badge, made sure your cosplay weapon wasn't real, and that was it. Now they're doing bag searches, metal detectors, controlling where you can enter and exit like it's a frickin' fortress. And they had the full backing of the Duke Energy Convention Center, the city of Cincinnati, and the police department. Just think where it's going to be a few years from now, folks. This is not the United States of America I grew up in. It's not. And I just don't even want to contemplate how much worse it's going to be before I go. But, oh, well, I got to get running. It's coming up on 45 minutes. And like I said, I didn't even intend on being on this long. So, yeah, they had metal detectors set up. They had guys with wands in case you couldn't pass that. They had a whole line that went through that had to be done for cosplay weapon search, which I can understand because that was the focus of the problem for the fellow that came in. He was going to kill the Green Ranger for some holy purpose. I can't remember. But the fact is he walked right out on the con floor with a loaded 45, I think it was, on his hip. I think it was a 45. And finally, it was some people began to notice that he was acting funny and that this gun looked a little too real, and the thing was foiled. But now it's, well, that gives us an excuse to run you through a bag check, a metal detector. If you don't pass that, you get a wand search. By the way, it's right there on the page. If you don't comply with any of this, you'll be turned away at the door. And now, allegedly, I heard some of the security guards were letting bottled water in. I'm hearing that now. But the thing is, it's right there on their page that they weren't allowing any outside food, water, beverages, or anything like that into the center. And I'm like, why? Do you think someone's going to turn their goddamn Cheetos into a pipe bomb? Ugh. It's frightening how scared we are now. It's like we're afraid of our own shadows now. It really is. Yeah, reality TVs are the cheap. Reality TV shows are the cheapest thing to put on, especially game shows, because you don't got to worry about special effects. You don't got to worry about any major editing. Other than the basic stuff for commercials, or somebody slips and says, I didn't have any, I haven't drank since about 2010 because that's when my friend Joe Manning passed away. And I don't know, it just seemed like that part of my, life, because the only places I really felt comfortable drinking or getting drunk were cons, especially his con, where he was at, because it was kind of like that part of me just went with him. So I haven't really drank since 2010. Also, I've done a lot of new medications since then, and I really don't want to fill around with them. Oh, well, I got to get going, folks. So please take care of yourselves and each other. And like I said, be mindful of what your local con security things are going to be like when you go, because be prepared for anything, especially monitor their pay. They didn't put up these new security changes until the 17th. Con started on the 19th or the 20th. I mean, I think it was either the 19th or the 20th. Yeah, something like that. And it's like, gave you 2 or 3 days warning they were going to do this. Like, you're going to foil those evil, cosplay terrorists. Oh, well. Good night, everyone. Take care. Have a great night. Hopefully things will get better, but you never know.